Hey guys, I'm back to bring you some stay-at-home mom reactions to politics this week. I tried to keep that intro short. You guys are being tortured with my 10-minute intros when really it's just me enjoying my pre-workout, aka coffee, fat burner, and just riding the wave until I get the hit. And then I react, but it bothers you, so let's keep it snippy and get to the chase. Yes, this week is not about SAHM. This week is about politics, because I need this brain to grow, to expand, because it is becoming mush. Yeah, I don't socialize. I live in Canada. I live an hour away from civilization, so this is the way I challenge myself daily. So thanks for coming forth and keeping that challenge up for me. Trying to one-up myself with every single upload. But yeah, so a little bit more about me. I am born and raised in Canada by two Polish immigrant parents. I was raised Roman Catholic. So yes, by default, conservative mentality. I follow those morals, that gut feeling. Yes, I'm still sick. Yes, you follow me on Instagram. I'm not updating my fit journey. I'm just expanding width-wise because I don't want to get sick again. I want to be fully better before I start running again. Oh my God, I'm extending my intro. Back to the point. Yeah, I'm moving out of Canada. We decided, actually we're kind of forced to emigrate out. I'm gonna have my own immigrant story like my parents. It's gonna be awesome though, because yeah, they were emigrating, fleeing from, what is it, communism. My mom emigrated to USA, New York, actually, Queens, New York to be specific, and my dad, Germany, and then eventually Canada, and then that's how it all came to be. So now, 34 years later, I'm dipping. I'm taking my family, and we're leaving, and you guys, if you stay tuned, you'll find out where eventually, but I thought I would mix a little bit of Politic Week with my personal life and see why other people are leaving Canada, because people with families, people who want to start families, are indeed leaving. Even my my childhood friend, I've mentioned him a few reaction videos now because he has sons, I have sons, so we and he's a paramedic, so I constantly harass him with medical questions because I'm a first-time mom. And yeah, he's really helping me and my husband cool ourselves down with any worries. So I'm in touch with this guy, and he's also considering leaving his amazing job as a paramedic to leave Canada and start a new life to actually lock in a future for his kids. Because like the future ends with me and my husband, like our generation. I feel like unless you're doing something dodgy or like you have some big break, I don't know what people are doing to still afford vacations. That's the difference between some people and I and my family. Like we are just trying to, it's like a Venn diagram, like trying to figure out how we're gonna just afford our basic human needs every month. So yeah, we can't live like this. It's not a life. I'm not gonna be able to afford the next 10 years seeing if anything's gonna improve. But holy moly, we were talking about this today, me and my husband. We did not expect that after this election, the recent one we had, it would get so bad so quickly. I think the liberal libtards that voted for this problem and chaos are actually shifting to the conservative side now. like I hope, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there was like that King's rally last week in the USA, and we had some dipshit Canadians honoring and supporting that rally in the USA and Canada, which we do have a King Charles. Didn't make sense. Idiots. But it seemed to be a very small group left here in Canada. So yeah, like, not that I'm welcoming libtards to the conservative side. Like, good for you. You're probably on the left side of conservatives at this point. You're just pushing me further to the right if you're joining this side. Anyway, yeah. If you think I'm doing something wrong, then put it in the messages and maybe I'll stay in Canada. Like, what can we do to stay in Canada at this point? Our taxes are not going towards the safety. Like, old ladies are getting murdered by or unalived by 17-year-olds. What? In the Toronto area? Just today, a lesbian couple who fostered 2 boys, indigenous boys. I don't know why I said it the first time the way I said it. They were fostering them to malnourishment. That the one boy, 12-year-old boy, who had seen a doctor 3 days before succumbing to his tortures of these 2 psycho inbred lesbians, who they're gonna twist it around and blame it on them being white, not lesbians, because that doesn't fit the liberal agenda, because they were 2 white girls. Yeah, the one boy passed away. It's just a terrible article to read. And yeah, it's just, this is Canada. Like, the doctor failed my son the first year of his life. I believe he was only 3 months old, and it was literally the same thing that happened to this poor 12-year-old foster baby who they had planned to adopt. Saw a doctor 3 days before he died. That is literally the same situation my boy went through. I went to the doctor, his pediatrician, saying something's not right with him. I'm a first-time mom. I don't have support from my family, just my husband. Like, we literally are alone here. And yeah, he said, oh, it's okay. Just don't eat this. I'm like, I'm not even breastfeeding him anymore. It's the formula. I'm using this formula. Okay. Like, dismisses it, ignores it. Even my husband after the appointment was like, why didn't he even address that like something's wrong with him? Because it was just like a checkup, because they were premature babies. 3 days later, I end up in the ER with him. 3 a.m. in the morning. They're like, oh, you just do too much up and down with him. And then I feed him. He takes in that feeding, and I'm like, just wait till the next feeding. I'm going to feed him again, which was going to be in almost 3 hours, and he's going to puke. And they sent us home with anti-nausea medication. That same day I gave him anti-nausea medication, he fell into hyperthermic shock, my baby. I had to rush him to the ER. Again, different hospital this time. I'm like, I'm not going. This one was half an hour away. The first initial one was where I gave birth to him, 1 hour away, 35 minutes away. We go there. He starts pooping like gel. I'm sorry, I'm giving you so much detail here, but it was like, I will break down and cry again. But I'm just showing you how dipshit, stupid, them, like, God forbid I need them at this point before we leave this country. But no one wanted to help. The guy at the ER, the initial ER, was more preoccupied. I call him a guy. That guy was not a doctor. He was more preoccupied by my Thule stroller, racerback, he called it, that it's excessive and I don't need something like that. I'm like, I have twin boys. This is the only stroller where they can sit side by side and like see each other and like hold on to each other's hands. I don't want anyway. But do you see, like, the emergency revolved around my stroller rather than my boy, and they sent him on his way with anti-nausea medication. He fell into hyperthermic shock that evening. We rushed him to the hospital, and half an hour away, I had to undress him, undress myself, hold on to him. We went under heat lamps, like they were trying to revive him. He was crashing. My boy was crashing. This is the healthcare system in Canada right now. It's like people die. Like my son almost unalived. And they sent him to the sick kids hospital where there was a hell nurse, I call her, who almost unalived my boy. It carried on. I did not have peace for that whole week that he was hospitalized because she didn't speak English. She was new. She didn't ask enough questions. And literally, the doctor in front of her would communicate the game plan. Hey, we're going to feed him this much every hour. And just in case he needs to go into emergency surgery, because they had no idea, maybe it was some blockage in his intestines, we don't know. It's like, don't feed him more than this. And she sets up a bottle, which was more than whatever the meal was supposed to be. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, no. And then luckily there was a nurse, because I'm like, okay, maybe they discussed something in the hallway that I missed. And luckily there was another nurse and she's like, no, you're doing this. And corrected her. And it was just like all the time. Until there was a moment where she had to put a feeding tube in him. And got the wrong feeding tube, first off. Luckily, a nurse walked in again and was like, that's not the feeding tube. It was some kind of like tiny little feeding tube. Rips it out of him. Puts in the actual feeding tube. He's gasping for air. I'm like, is this normal? And she's like, yeah, he's getting used to it. I'm like, okay. And then I leave with my husband to go get food finally. And then X-ray lady gets called into the room. And then she immediately runs out. She's like, I need a doctor. And it's going to our room. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I run back in. And she put the feeding tube in my son's lung. Thank God they didn't send food. Or he would, I can't even talk about it. It's just so bad in Canada. It's so bad. Like, it's all DEI hiring. It's, yeah, I don't feel safe here anymore. It's like the quality of life is horrible. The quality of service is just a joke. Like I used to get mad living in Dubai. Like every brand, they were just kind of running it to the ground because they're hiring people from like third world countries who didn't give a crap. Like they didn't care they worked for Starbucks and what they made that brand look like. And it's exactly like Canada is the polar opposite of what I left in Dubai. Literally freezing cold Sahara of just people that don't give a shit about Canada. And they're just sending money back home. Anyway, that's done. 13 minutes. Sorry for that intro. Let's see why this guy's leaving. And let's see if it relates to my big story. I probably have way too much more to elaborate on this. I'm sorry in advance.
After 27 years, I've finally decided to leave Canada for good. And to give you
34.
guys a little bit of a backstory behind this, I'm 27. I was born and raised in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Mississauga/Milton, Ontario.
Moved to Ottawa, Ontario, the capital of the country, when I was about 3 or 4 years old. Spent most of my years there. I lived about 3 years in Toronto and about 2 years in Barrie, Ontario, and I'm currently
Nice.
been in Alberta for the last year.
Oh.
And I've built a multi-million-dollar business in this country. I've employed many Canadians, paid more than my fair share of taxes, all right? Motherfuckers. I paid my dues. I played the game. My grandparents actually fled the Soviet Union during the Holocaust to survive, and they had to sneak through what would be modern-day Ukraine, the forest there across the border into Romania. Back then it was all the Soviet Union. and hop on a ferry to Montreal.
So, yeah. Okay. My parents, same story. My dad went to Germany. My mom, she was going to go to Austria and then last minute got her lottery visa. Americans will know what this is. And basically, they give visas out to like low population countries. So I guess there was a low population of Polish people in America in 1988. So she got to go to the US instead of Austria.
So by the time my grandfather and his brother actually arrived in Montreal, his brother had a bullet in the leg. So I'm gonna be forever grateful to Canada for providing them the opportunity to survive and build back when the country was a thriving, prosperous place. Unfortunately, that's no longer the case. It's definitely
Okay, take note. He's got a nice place. Like, this guy's doing well. It's classy, clean. Like, what? Who lives like this? Like, he's not lying when he's saying he's built a business. This is nice living.
it's definitely
And this stuff is coming from a guy who's doing well.
become a country that, even in my own lifetime, when I was growing up here, the childhood was fantastic. You had hockey night in Canada. The culture was awesome. The cities were beautiful. Vancouver, Montreal.
Yeah, like growing up, I hung out with guys like him. Like, those were my guy friends. Just like hockey night, chilling. Yeah.
Toronto. And unfortunately, this is not the same country that is modern day Canada. These cities are literally decaying from the inside out. It's
Yeah,
absolutely disgusting.
it is.
So much so that some I would equate to being open air asylum drug dens. And
Well said.
we're just cracking the surface of some of the things that are really wrong with Canada
No
now. So
pun
this video will go
intended.
out to you. Like, I'm sure a lot of Canadians can relate. I'm sure
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of Canadians are going to get pissy in the comments. It is what it is.
Liberals. But I really think because of their dipshit low IQ votes, they're seeing they messed up. I really think so. Like, I am livid on Facebook and constantly calling out libtards, posting things. And all the people I suspect that are liberal or have even said in their status, I didn't vote conservative. And it's like, well, then who the hell else did you vote for? Obviously, liberals. They just stay silent. Even though I'm like, if you're a liberal, unfollow me. Like, after the Charlie Kirk assassination, I have completely, I don't want to say radicalized myself, but like confirmed it that I don't want any kind of connection to these people. They are a cancer to society. So they just stay silent, and I'm just like waiting for a liberal update on their Facebook so I can just remove them. But they're watching. They're always watching my rants.
You can't please them all, right? Clearly. And or if you're somebody from abroad who's considering coming from Canada and you don't quite know what the boot on the ground situation is, you look at Google Images and you just see beautiful mountains and lakes and you think it's Disneyland.
It's so irritating to me because I'm still in touch with people that work for the airline based in Dubai, that you see all over my YouTube. And they have like family members, brothers that live here, and they just come visit them for like their vacation days, and they're like taking pictures of hiking and all this beautiful shit. And I'm like, yeah, so you can only enjoy Canada when you visit it. To live in it, you don't like to touch a tree. It's like, I don't know how much. You don't have time to do that. Like, you have to, like, this is coming from a stay-at-home mom that relies on a man who's working his life away. Like, it's a freaking treat if he just drives us to the grocery store and I get to touch the tree outside of the grocery store. That's my nature. Oh.
My friend, I am sorry, it is far from Disneyland. Unless you're a crackhead. Then it's pretty close to Disneyland. I'm going to get into a plethora of reasons as to why I've decided to leave the country for good. But the most underlying reason, the biggest factor as to why I decided to leave is I'm not a father right now, but I do intend to be in the future. So it's more of a choice
Mm.
for my future children. So
Oh.
it's just a no-brainer. Like I want to leave, and I believe that there's not enough.
Like we during COVID, like I think the whole population to survive was blowing through their savings. Like our parents don't have anything. This is a statistic to pass down to us, to pass down to our kids. Like, you know, in Poland, grandparents leave you their apartment. They pay it off, they've paid it off, they pass away and they sign you under it. So you carry on and live your life there. Like there's none of that here.
Opportunity here for my future children. Whereas I've traveled abroad, I've
Same.
lived in Mexico for 4 months. I've
Wow.
lived in
That's such a
Argentina for 2
Canadian
months,
thing to do.
and I'm traveling to Eastern Europe and the Balkans for about 2 months
Nice.
in this fall. So I've seen
Is he
the
Croatian
opportunities
and
that are abroad in
Serbian?
terms
Balkan?
of,
Balkan is Serbian.
you know, building a family, being able to build more of a legacy, build legacy assets, and have a more favorable environment that favors entrepreneurs and businessmen rather than punishes them like Canada. Because the better you do in Canada, the harder they tax you to the point where you're
So
not.
yeah, he's successful. And like he imagined this apartment, like if he wasn't taxed, he'd be even more golden. There would be gold details. I'm exaggerating maybe, but yeah, like he would have so much more to show for it.
Not incentivized to start any more businesses or even really scale up the ones you have. So it really limits the economy. And of course, a lot of Canadians are going to go, good, pay your fair share, as if you don't already get rinsed. And
Yeah.
you're just taking more and more and more to the
Yeah.
point where you can't even operate businesses anymore.
Yeah, businesses are leaving Canada.
I'm sure the European Union is quite similar with the red tape and bureaucracy. It's a nightmare. I mean,
I don't think any businesses want to start in Canada right now. Like I think even the ones that had just started, you have like a 5-year break even point, like period to break even. I don't think that even exists anymore. Like even my husband coming here as a new immigrant in 2019 to now did not break even. Like it's just he's chasing a non-reachable dream. So like we tried. We're
this
out.
is honestly, if you want to get right into it, I think this is a coordinated demolition of the West. It's not just exclusive to Canada, but Canada in particular got pretty nasty with it. And, strong.
So I am going down this rabbit hole. And yeah, like someone inboxed me on Instagram saying like, you got red pilled, keep talking politics. I have an immigrant father who was in the military from Poland. I had that red pill in my medicine cabinet or whatever countertop. It's been there. I just never took it because I never felt politics affect me this hard. Like I talk to people in Poland and they're like, I don't really listen to like they don't listen to politics because it doesn't affect their livelihood as much as it does. Don't at me, moje kochane Polaczki. I know it affects you, but you don't know the extreme here.
Men have to make hard calls in life, you know what I'm saying? Like my grandparents, they had to leave the country they were in or else they get slaughtered. So, I'm not going to equate my situation to that. That would be hyperbole, but to some extent, it's a tough call you got to make for your future generations, and that's what they did, and that's what I intend to do. I intend to carry that forward. If they're willing to take that risk, I don't think I should be complacent in
So is he
dying
Ukrainian?
empire, if you could even call Canada an empire.
Went or
Like, don't
Russia
get me
to
wrong,
Ukraine to
Canada
Romania?
for about 4 to 5
I'm
decades
understanding it
post World
right.
War II was a land of opportunity. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was just gorgeous. One of the best countries in the world. Some could argue maybe possibly the best at some
And
points.
empty.
But
Like it looked like this.
you
Now
know,
it's just
three
tourists.
generations later, I'm starting to realize that, we're in
New
the part of the
generations
cycle
coming.
where the easy times are over, the hard times are coming in, and it's up to strong men to make the right decision in these hard times for their.
He's right. Oh my god, he talks like Charlie Kirk. It's crazy, but it's not even that you don't want to work. Like no, like you work and you don't know where else you can work to keep making it work. Like
Future generations of children. And I'm seeing some glaring red flags out of Canada that I can't ignore and I refuse to accept. So, one of the absolute biggest issues I have with Canada is what I witnessed from 2020 to 2023. In Canada, we have something similar to the American constitutional rights. In our case, it's called the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And I think in America that still stands. There's still complete legitimacy there. I mean, Americans may have issue with that. Comment below if you do. I don't know. I'm not an American, but it seems that your constitution held up much better than ours in Canada. Our Charter of Rights and Freedom is nothing but just symbolic paper at this point. It may as well be toilet paper after what we witnessed in the country. We witnessed enforced curfews, so people weren't allowed outside past 8 p.m., 9 p.m., or else they get multi-thousand-dollar fines. This was in Quebec.
yeah,
Disgusting.
yeah.
Okay. We had vaccine passports. Disgusting. They froze people's bank accounts illegally.
A guy at my gym, he bought a fake one for like $5,000. Yeah, he's like, I'm not getting the jab. Are you crazy? And then he loved to go. He was a Serbian guy. He was really well off. Like he's lived in Canada for generations, so he had the time to break even. And yeah, he loved to ski, so he was, yeah, he had a fake one.
For contributing $2 to $5 to a GoFundMe that was protesting against their rights being taken away by the government. So there's a lot of stories of single mothers that couldn't access their funds to feed their children because the government froze it. Mm-hmm. Disgusting.
Yes.
As this video goes on, you're gonna know my social credit score is gonna be plummeting to the point where this may be my last YouTube video. It's over before it even began. Okay.
I love that laugh.
So the government, of course, they labeled all the protesters, which I saw in person were pretty peace-loving and freedom-based. They labeled them as extremists.
I went to my dad's a truck driver, so of course he was like, I have to go. So I went with my dad. I saw my aunt, my uncle there. Yeah. Did I go with my husband? Was he there? No, I just went with my dad. My husband was in the country, but I think he was working. But anyway, day off for me. I went with my dad to Toronto, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. Like, you had every nationality there. It wasn't white people like they made it out to be. There was a black guy interviewing everyone. There was like a mob of Asians with like F Trudeau photo. Like I remember that because it was like funny posters. And yeah, like I was taking note because you heard about the Ottawa one, which my sister attended, and she was like, it was so nice. Like everyone was like, are you hungry? Here, have something to eat. And of course, there were people who were trying to do things to like frame that it was the convoy. And these people were not for the convoy. Like I forget, it was so long ago. I forget what they were doing, but they were trying to tarnish the peace of the protest. And even when I was in Toronto, someone threw like a paint bomb, like it turns into powder. It was blue. So we were just congregating into this one little court area and listening to one of the first speeches to start the convoy. And yeah, we were all just standing, listening to this guy talk about how much he loves Canada, his story, and then someone throws a big blue paint bomb and it goes off, and of course they like kicked him out and they're like, get out of here. like, what are you trying? And of course, the news would capture that there was some kind of tussle, like ridiculous how desperate they tried to paint us evil.
And in fact, the federal courts actually ruled in favor that the government impeded on our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They were found guilty in court. You know what happened? Nothing. They weren't held accountable. Nothing came of it. They just walked away. So imagine, Americans, if they trampled your constitutional rights, were found guilty of it in federal court, and nothing came of it. You'd have a hard time trusting the foundation of your country, wouldn't you?
I think Pierre Poilievre right now is doing something about this.
Oh, that's just for my American brothers and sisters to get a good comprehension of what it's like over here right now. And state overreach has just become the norm. So, once that starts with censorship and limiting your freedoms, it's a slippery slope. And since then, it's been a very quiet, slow decline in civil rights and freedom.
Holy snap, this video is from 4 months ago. Everything he's saying right now is actually happening. Like, we have censorship, so everything I'm saying in this video potentially can end me up in jail. So, get me out of here. And now they're trying to introduce digital ID.
They quietly pass laws and bills that they think people won't catch on to. It's just eroding our rights, and people are aware. So as I was saying earlier, I have built a multi-million-dollar window, door, and garage door business in Canada, and I'm very grateful for the position I'm in.
I think he's Ukrainian.
To be completely honest with you, if somebody were to try to follow the same path I was this year, 2025, in Canada, I'm not so sure they'd be successful anymore. I don't think the business would take off, which is a scary thing. The only reason I'm successful as I am is that the business was godfathered in over the years.
Yeah,
so
that's
for
what
new
I
entrepreneurs,
said.
It's a pretty brutal.
No one's starting their businesses here. No one.
Like, for instance, the income tax can be up to 53%.
It's 55
so you're effectively
now.
Working over half the year for the government, just in income tax alone. Never mind any of the other taxes. And
Sweden, my buddy lives in Sweden. I don't know if you're watching this. Yeah, it's like 60%, he told me. That's insane. And Sweden is so unsafe right now.
Everything else is taxed, which is why, if you look into it, the majority of Canadians are living off debt. It's one of the highest household debt ratios in the entire world, which is also a pretty scary ticking time bomb. So yeah, we put, what else do we pay? We pay carbon tax.
Yeah, I'm worried about selling our
capital gains
shack.
Tax, property tax.
Hopefully someone buys
tax,
it.
Life tax, breathing tax. Go to take a piss, you get taxed. There's no incentive to innovate, only to obey and comply, and that's by design. The best slave class is the slave class that does not even realize they're slaves. And that's honestly what the majority of
Canadians
the Canadian population has unfortunately fallen into under the current government.
They don't want to look.
And the former government, which
because they just care about their LGBTQ rights.
They're essentially tax cattle because they're working their asses off year round, and it's going towards taxes and expenses.
Well said.
So nobody's getting ahead. They're just barely running. It's like a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And they're barely even making it around the whole circle.
Oh my God, it's so nice to hear this from a successful guy.
When you have a population of people that are working just to survive, and that becomes not enough.
Yeah.
When they have to work 2 to 3 jobs, and
we're
that's
not
still
exaggerating.
Not enough to survive, let alone get ahead. That's a slave class, and they're so tied up in the work that they can't fight it. They may not even realize it, and that's the design that this government, in my opinion, is really after. That's what worries me most. Canada is run by oligopolies. I believe there's about 5 banks, about 3 telecom companies, 2 major food giants, and like 1 pharmacy chain. And between the years 2020 to 2023, the government really proved that when they allowed Walmart, Amazon, Costco to operate the whole time as essential businesses. And your local, or your Starbucks was allowed to operate, but a local cafe was not allowed to operate.
LCBO.
The same kind
it's our
of
liquor
business.
store.
So yeah, the illusion of a free market in Canada, it's not real. It's state-sponsored monopoly, essentially. So that's another reason as to why I'm not impressed with the business environment in this country. And I do intend to build more businesses in the future. And they
Nice.
sure as well won't be here. This is not a competitive environment.
No.
We can't
That would
compete
be
globally.
insanely
And
stupid to
as a
start
result, the
something here.
OECD has projected that Canada's projected GDP per capita growth will be the lowest in the entire developed world all the way from now through the 2060s. And why? Think about Canada, the most resource rich nation on earth,
Yeah.
second largest land mass.
Oil.
Everyone wants to immigrate here. We share the border with the largest
So
economy in the
pretty.
world. We have shipping ports on the East Coast as well as the West Coast,
Yeah.
and the Arctic is opening up for trade exploration. We should be one of the richest, if not the richest country in the world. That's pathetic.
But
That
for some reason, Quebec just keeps voting liberals in. Like, Alberta right now is very close to separating, but I don't think it'll be in my time here. And my husband keeps saying, like, maybe we'll move back in 10 years, but no, I don't even care to visit, actually.
that's like
I don't care to visit because, like, even my home, Ontario, is unrecognizable. These photos that he has, I don't know if it's his footage or stock media, but it doesn't look like this anymore. It is so trampled by tourism and just it, like my town is now like I don't know what the population is, but it went from me going to the mall and stopping and talking to people every 5 steps that I knew to like me thinking, when was the last time I saw someone I knew? Years. Like it's just too many people. Too many weird people shitting on beaches kind of people killing our Canadian geese. Like there's footage of people goose napping, kidnapping, abducting goose and cooking them, eating them. Like that's illegal in Canada. People are going out to parks and making Canadian goose soup.
that performance with the potential we have is nothing short of treasonous. It's not even pathetic, it's treason. The cities have all just eroded into chaos and open air asylums, as I was saying, drug dens, needles all over the floor,
Yeah, so
people
scary.
smoking crack pipes out at like.
Dude, people are not changing their babies on changing tables. I never did it. I don't think I've ever. If I did, I take dog, the diaper pads, because my dog loves to pee when we leave the house. So I have to always like cover it with a puppy pad before I get to clean it. So like if we come home, I see the puddle, I just put a puppy pad on it and then like bring the boys up to get them ready for bed or whatever, just to get them out of that area. And then I come back to it to clean it. But yeah, so I have puppy pads. And I think, first of all, I don't go out, so I don't have to worry about changing them in public bathrooms. If I had to change them, they were little tiny, teeny babies, so I could change them on my laps in my car when it's parked. And yeah, I think I did just like maybe twice. We did swimming lessons, so I just laid out puppy pads on a changing table at the community center to get them out of their bathing suits. Like they did not touch them. I don't they're just disgusting to me. Like they're usually next to a toilet. Like they just look like itching and just breeding E. coli and all the bacteria, salmonella, just ew, I don't like them. They're so dirty looking. Anyways, people are afraid of using them these days because there have been a few cases of babies being exposed to fentanyl. Someone was doing some kind of, I don't know how fentanyl works, something on the changing table, left fentanyl residue on it. Some kind of drug, maybe not fentanyl, but I think they were saying fentanyl. And now no one's using them. It's crazy.
7 a.m. You're trying to get into the bank, and a guy's blowing a cloud of crack smoke in your face, and that'll put a nice little slant on your day for you. Woo! So, even in Toronto itself, one city in Canada,
Oh my god.
the car theft there is so insane that it's about a
Eden
$1 billion
Center.
a year business industry.
We had a
Stealing
shooting in
cars
the Eden
in
Center.
Toronto, chopping them up, shipping them overseas to places like West Africa and the Middle East.
And
A
then the
billion
human
dollar industry in
trafficking.
one city.
I'm afraid now, like even if I do start going for my runs, I won't go in the dark. Like I'm so afraid of human trafficking. There's a town, it's like I think 2 hours away from me. Literally every day there's a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old going missing, boy or girl. There's some crazy human trafficking happening in Alberta.
The crime like rampant to that level. Are you? I gotta breathe. See, the thing about
Breathe.
Canada is like the way it's going. It just has my blood boiling. I'm sure many
You and
Canadians
me,
can
both.
relate.
Yeah.
And that's just not healthy on the long term. I really enjoy the idea of if I have daughters in the future, walking them along the streets and
He has plans to have daughters. Oh, I guess he's using this for an example.
addicts, tents, and
Yeah.
violence. People are fighting over crack rocks in the street. It's fucking disgusting. Honestly, the government should be
walking
ashamed
your
of themselves.
dog would be scary.
And if one of them came on to you in an aggressive act and you defended yourself,
Yes.
you're going to jail.
Yep.
That's Canada for you.
Yep.
You are the criminal for defending yourself.
Yep. This is
Scary.
so true.
It's scary.
It's very scary.
They take our gun rights away. You're not allowed to have a
Yeah.
handgun in Canada anymore. But the only people with handguns now
Are the
criminals.
illegals.
So you can't even defend yourself.
Yeah.
It's just the criminals that are armed as a result.
Yeah.
And the civilians get their rights eroded even further.
Make it make
and
sense.
most of the guns are coming over the border illegally.
Yeah.
Anyways, to gangs. It's, and you think the government doesn't
No,
know
I
this?
don't
They
know.
this.
I don't know
Like I said, everything
the
they're
hell's
doing
going
is
on.
intentional demolition. It's
Yeah.
collapse.
Yeah.
It's a controlled collapse.
It's so crazy. I knew all this was to be. This guy from India, when I was living in Dubai, I was in the briefing room we go for 2 hours prior to takeoff. We sit down, go over our safety, meet the pilots, discuss the flight. The purser, who's in charge of the flight, went into this new world reform topic. You guys know about it? I guess it's red pill or black pill, that it's like by design demolishing the current state of the world and being under one new boss. Basically he was the one to say back in 2000, I believe it was 18, that all these first world countries are going to become third world countries, and all the third world countries are going to rise. And I was just sitting there like intrigued, but it was just too much for me to consume. Like I couldn't really hear what he was saying because there was so much going on. But like I was really interested in it. And I'm like, damn, there's this documentary about this as well. It's funny because even this Pakistani guy I worked with brought it up at work, and he's like, you need to watch it. They're planning on doing these like taking your money away and putting everything on credits so that you eventually wouldn't have access to like all this he was telling me. And I'm like, I need to watch this documentary, but I will always forget the name of the documentary. But it's very old, this documentary. You guys will probably put it in the comments, and I thank you in advance for that, because I'll finally get to watch it, because I am down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, Canadians heavily pride themselves on their free healthcare, which is honestly coming out of our pockets when it's in taxes. But the quality of the healthcare is atrocious. Not enough doctors.
Shut up,
nobody even has a
Canadians.
doctor.
Shut up with that.
If you break your leg or arm, expect
Nothing to brag about.
Our ER wait room visit before you can even be seen by a doctor. Okay, many people actually die in the wait room.
You
in
mean
Canada
ChatGPT doctor? The one that's Googling?
Are dangerous, honestly, quite frankly. So the healthcare infrastructure is atrocious. And that's definitely not to the fault of nurses or doctors.
Even with my mild head concussion, he didn't give me a freaking MRI. Is that, yeah, CAT scan. He didn't want to give it to me, probably because it cost too much for the hospital. The freaking hospital that I stayed in, it was in one of those, those soccer domes that they make in the winter, like the big umbrella, like Michelin looking, yeah, like little pillow, tarp things. That's the freaking ER wing. It looked like I was sitting in a trailer. Like I can feel everyone walking. Like I was in my patient bed and it was like all rocking. I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm in like Afghanistan in like an army camp. They made this thing and like it felt like in one of the movies. It's so welfare here. Like shut the front door with our healthcare brag. It's going through your taxes. It's not free. And this is what your taxes are getting you right now. A freaking soccer dome ER. And you can like see the freaking heat lamps. It was so bizarre.
They're doing their jobs and they're great. A lot of them are actually being cuffed by the government, essentially, and have to go to the United States, which leads me to an even bigger trend, the brain drain behind Canada. And it's particularly going towards the United States because our best and brightest can get higher salaries, lower taxes, and affordable real estate, and a higher quality of life, and maybe a better climate in America rather than Canada. So we're not retaining talent very well. That's becoming a big issue. It's destroying and eroding all our institutions, honestly. So even though the quality of all of the institutions are eroding at a rapid rate, our taxes are equally rising at a rapid rate. So you're paying more and getting less. I feel like I'm paying
What the frick?
5-star Shangri-La hotel rates to stay in a fucking prostitute-ridden, stabby kind of motel. It's horrible. And it's just not sustainable.
I love Shangri-La. I used to go to Shangri-La.
So really in Canada, we've managed to merge the worst
beautiful.
of socialism and the worst of capitalism in two without getting the benefits of either. And I'll touch this subject because most people are honestly too scared to touch it. But immigration, it needs to be addressed. This is a big issue in Canada right now.
Before you begin, sir, even the Indians, because I befriend Indians, Pakistanis, this is the highest immigration population currently. The Sikh, Punjabi, which is Sikh. I mean, there's like a little Christian sector in Punjab, very little. I've met Christian Punjabi guys as well. I say guys because girls don't talk to me. They don't talk to me. It's just the guys. Yeah, I worked at Amazon. It's 90% Indian guys. And they were all my friends, like really cool guys. And we have a city that people that I worked with in Dubai know about and they laugh about. Again, if you're watching, you know who you are. They know Brampton, Ontario. They laugh about that city because it is just considered brown town. It is just Indians and Pakistani people and my church, Polish people. There's a Polish community there too. But it's really like run by the Indians and Pakistanis. But like my friends would work with me and they all lived in Brampton. And they would tell me like, dude, I didn't move from India to be in India. And then Pakistani people don't like Indians. I think they get along better in Canada, but like out there, like in Dubai, they like you would sit in a cab with a Pakistani driver and he would like, hello, oh, I hate Indians. They are the worst passengers ever. And you're just like, okay, I don't know what to say. Okay. But yeah, here they tolerate each other more because I guess the Canadian way is to be more accepting of everyone and the openness, and that's what brought us here. Freaking openness of LGBT and trans and all that. But anyway, yeah, my Indian friends from work were like, I just moved from India to India. And even the Pakistani colleagues that worked for the airline with me who had to do the Toronto, like the Toronto flight from Dubai to Toronto was the worst flight in the business. Like, people called in sick on that flight. So if you were on standby, you would get Toronto for sure. Like, that was the flight that everyone called in sick on. If you've already been there once, they don't want to do it again because it's a hell flight. And people on that flight, Pakistani from the Middle East, were like, what's wrong with your government? Why is it so easy for people to get a citizenship in Canada? Like, it shouldn't be like this. Like, these are foreigners who didn't live in Canada telling me this. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. So, yeah, it's bad. Like, Canada's like, there's so many Canadians who are complaining, like, oh, what happened to Canada? We were such a free country. Oh, we had such an openness and tolerance. And like, there's like totally an immigration fatigue. Like, people are releasing racial slurs and discrimination, prejudice, like vandalizing things. Like, they're more preoccupied too with these vandalisms, which are like, everything is vandalized. Like, you see vandalism on train track, cargo, bridges. Like, I don't know, something that hasn't been tagged, but they are more busy locating people who vandalized than people who freaking robbed, broke into a home. Anyway, my point is that, yeah, the immigration is just out of hand. It is out of hand. So bad. And it's like too many people coming in too quickly that the Canadian culture that we had, I don't remember there ever being a culture. It was just openness, like, be okay with everyone. It's the Canadian way. The only culture I know in Canada is my own Polish culture mixed in with it. Like, if it wasn't for my parents taking me to church every Sunday, I would not consider Canada a Christian country like they claim it to be. It's not a Christian country. No. Like, I had to get out of my way. Even going to a Catholic school, it was like a joke religion class. No one listened to the teacher. It was like break time. So thank God my parents were so strict about going to church every Sunday, because that's the culture. That is what it should have been, but it wasn't. Canadians didn't care about Christianity, and now they're like, oh, it's a Christian country. Actually, it's not. So you can't even argue. Like, that's not a valid point. I don't know. Canadians did not have a culture, but what I'm trying to say is the behavior of Canadians is not being adapted. So, although, yes, Pakistani and India is a little more tolerant in Canada towards each other than they are out there in the Middle East, closer to home in the East. Yeah. So there is that little influence. I guess the laws and the structure of the country, but the behavior of Canadians is just not existent anymore. Like, you call services, phone services, customer service, and people talk back to you. They hang up on you. They're like, what the when they don't want to help you, they wait until, like, you have the chat bot and it's actually someone. They're like, yeah, you wait in a queue. They answer you. You give your question. They're like, yeah, let me help you with that. 1 second. And they wait for it to time out so they don't have to help you. Like, what? It's horrible. I've been hung up on. One girl's like, can you please stop giving me an attitude? I'm like, what attitude? I was asking you a question. What? Like, it's just so bad. So freaking bad. Back in the day, you would be like, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm good. Thank you so much. Don't work too hard. Thank you so much for helping me. Have a great day. Wow, you really got out of your way to answer that question for me. like 5-star customer service, and you can feel them smiling through the phone. And I was like, so passive aggressive, and they barely speak English. Sorry, but it's true.
Don't get me wrong. I support immigration when it's done correctly and
Yes.
efficiently and
Yes.
proactively.
Yes.
That's not the case in Canada.
No.
Now, tourists can actually claim asylum. So a tourist can come here on a recreational visa just for a holiday and then claim asylum.
That's
they get
scary.
over $2,000 a month by the government. They don't have to work. They all live together. They split their benefits and overload the system. I mean, this is the reality of the immigration here. We're not getting more productivity out of them.
No.
We're just getting bled dry by them, by the people that are actually productive and producing income and tax revenue. It's going towards these, quite frankly, these fucking bums.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are so afraid to speak up. Like they think
Not
that,
me.
oh, we have to be woke.
To be politically correct is not correct. Like, follow the statistics and you're correct, okay? Like, chill with the emotions and whatever baggage. Like, keep that at home. Freaking look at the numbers.
Look how far woke has gotten us. It's not doing us too fucking well, is it? Maybe that's not the way to go. Maybe woke needs to die.
It did,
and reality
though.
needs to set in, and we need to actually
From 4
take
months ago, it's
responsibility
so different
of our
now.
actions and our
Because of that
decisions here and clean up the
assassination, we're
fucking
all,
mess.
like,
Oh, it's this country's fucked.
divided.
There's no future for the kids. What are we doing? It's fucking disgusting. And a lot of immigrants that actually
Like, there's Canadians who cared about this assassination, and then the rest, they don't, like, it never happened. No effect because it was America. And, like, the conservatives were the ones that went to the vigil. Like, yeah, you don't hear about this assassination in Canada at all, except from the conservatives.
do come here for a better opportunity, many leave within 5 years because they can't cut the housing costs,
Yeah,
the quality of life,
that's
the
us.
work, the job market
That's
isn't
us.
nearly as good as they believe it would have been.
Yes.
And they can't financially
False
cut it and they
dream.
end up leaving anyways. So
Yeah.
even the productive immigrants that are coming here
My husband.
are not able to actually get ahead, just
Yeah.
like the actual native population. And when the system's fundamentally broken, mass importing people from other countries isn't going to fix it. That's
Yeah.
like trying to slap a Hello Kitty Band-Aid on like a pipe that's burst.
Yeah, they're saying we need more babies, more people, more families. Like, we need more people in Canada, so they're flooding us with immigrants. How about we ban abortion, help families financially so they can, okay, it's in the culture for the Indian, Pakistani, and Arabian people culture to have a lot of babies. Like, they that's their goal. Not in Canada. My husband has a friend at work who, I believe he might have been somewhere from the Middle East. He's like, yeah, we're stopping at 1 baby. We can't afford a second. I lucked out. I had twins, thank God. But yeah, like, even these like very family oriented, like, reproducing rich cultures are stopping at 1. My colleague at work, she's Indian. Her husband's Indian. They have 1 baby, and I don't think they're going to have another. Like, they both work with me. So, yeah, it's like people are complaining, like, oh, these cultures come here and have like 10 babies. I don't agree with that at all. Like, they're also struggling and they're sticking to 1. Like, how about we stop flooding Canada with these newcomers and helping the families here, banning abortion, so we can not think it's an option when we're financially strained. Like, oh, I have to murder this baby so that I don't end up on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a good game plan. Let these families have like their 10 kids.
You know what I mean? Like, it's, what the fuck are you doing? It's not going to work. It's going to break everything. But once again, like I said, that could be the point. And I could go off about all of the plethora of ideas I have about how to fix Canada, like
I
overhauling the
just shared my
education system
idea.
for one and
And
modernizing
abortion.
it so that the youth can actually get trained in stuff like artificial intelligence, tech, math, science, engineering, stuff that will actually provide value in the future. Construction, trades, these things, get them into the work environment, like through internship programs immediately. You could do these things. Wow, we could open up the Arctic. We could slash taxes. We could leverage our resources for massive trade deals. But you know what?
Income
It's all
taxes
hua
are
hua hua. It's
the
not going to
biggest
happen.
scam.
This government's not going to make it happen. They'll make promises that it's going to happen. But that brings me back to a more important part here is that if you're relying on a government to turn your country around or to make your life better, you're already in a losing position. Because let me tell you something about governments, they're not here to help you. When the government comes and they go, hey, we're here to help, fucking run. That's when you gotta run, lads.
Unless they really help.
So, this video is not to complain or be nihilistic. It's just to accept reality for what it is within
Yeah.
that nation and inform
Yeah.
people this is what's going on in
Yeah.
Canada in the
This
modern
is,
era.
and it
So,
got
what
worse
can you
since
do
four
if you're a
months ago.
Canadian and you're looking to move on and have better, higher horizons? Well, one thing I would definitely recommend to get started is you need a location independent income. It's the new survival code essentially. So any source of income, it could be an e-com store, you could sell options and trade stocks, you could trade cryptocurrencies, you could provide
I wouldn't
online
know.
services, get contracts and gigs that way. Whatever floats your boat, but as long as you have location independent income, you're now positioned well to leave. Okay? You no longer rely on Canada for an income. That's important.
Yeah, that sucks for people who can't do this. Like, I told my one friend, anyway, there's people who are just not in the position to do this. I luckily have a husband who is from the place that we're moving to, and his family's there. So that is like my foot in the door, and my roots are from there, like my parents. So it's just like, thank God for that. But there's people who don't know the language, won't be able to get a job somewhere else. Like, it's sad.
It's the only way forward, honestly. Once you have location independent income and you have complete control of that, you now have the freedom to choose which jurisdiction you get to live in the entire world. This could get real fun, or you could have a much lower cost of living. You could legally lower your tax rate to zero or very minimal. And there's a plethora of new opportunities, new companies you can invest in, new real estate, new cities to live in. The world's your oyster. And the beautiful thing about that is once you make money online or through global assets, the government loses control over you. So once again, this channel, it always ties back to real sovereignty and freedom. We're not trying to look flashy and drive Lambos to look rich here. We're actually trying to be sovereign, free humans,
Yeah.
and that
Amen.
takes a lot of work. Honestly, it takes a lot of positioning. It takes a lot of kung fu, I guess, to get around problems. But that's what we're here to do. Because what else is there to do? Currently, I'm in the scouting phase where I'm checking out different regions of the world that I think would apply to my needs and wants in life.
He's gonna say
Particularly
Poland.
being a place where
He's gonna say
freedom
Poland.
is
He's
higher
gonna
on
say
the
El
agenda.
Salvador.
Um,
Dubai.
the
Probably gonna
city's
say.
streets are safe, the nature's beautiful, it's a business friendly environment, tax friendly environment where my kids could grow up and honestly not be in this position that I'm currently being put in, because everything moves in cycles. So by the time the next cycle arises, they'll have their good times and eventually inevitably the hard times.
Okay, ladies, he's a keeper. He's thinking of his future. He wants to settle down. He's a keeper. I don't know if he's single, but that's the guy. Go get his number. Slide into that DM.
Will come again, but I want them to be better positioned than I was. And I think as men, that's our duty, is to always think and make actions towards the future generations, whether it's even yours or not. It's just that's the future of humanity. And so the tough call has to be made. Some other regions that I am interested in are Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina, Montenegro, Romania, Serbia, Budapest, Hungary. These are regions that intrigue me. I like
Hungry,
what
yeah,
their governments are doing.
yeah.
I'd rather my abilities reward their government by more investment than the current one I'm under. And I realized in Canada my vote basically doesn't matter anymore. So essentially, I'm going
It's
to be voting with
rigged.
my feet and my money because that's what's more important, honestly.
My God.
And unfortunately, that's just where the situation
Unagi.
Canada is. But sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. Like if your country, and I know Canada.
It just sucks because I grew up being so excited to get married and have kids and then do things that I did as a child and like show them where I used to live, where I used to play, where my mom took me, the community center I used to swim at. I wanted to do all, like, I'm going to start crying because, yeah, I had an amazing childhood in Canada. I did. I could, like, go to the neighborhoods around. I lived in a pretty rough area too. It wasn't a bougie. I lived in a townhouse in a very high crime neighborhood. Like there was literally a cop down like four houses down on someone's driveway waiting for them every day to come home from high school because he was like this drug dealing. He was actually Polish too. But anyways, it was a rough neighborhood that I lived in. And like I would even call it a ghetto. And I felt so safe there. Like maybe because the cops were there every day. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was just yeah, like I literally knew everyone that lived in that neighborhood. We had a community pool. I can go to the neighborhoods across the street, behind us, the back park, we called it, the community center, all by myself. It was like, okay, I had one scary incident where one guy pulled over. I remember his car, that he had black glasses, he was bald, and he told me to get in his car. And I was like, what? And he's like, get in my car. And I was like, and I booked it and I just like ran into my friend's house. Thank God that door was unlocked. And I was like, hello. They're like, hello. I'm like, I'm scared. And they came down and the uncle walked me home. So that was one scary incident. And actually, we had a second incident where this guy in this green caravan pulled up to us playing, and I was up in a tree. I climbed a tree on the other side of the street. I don't think he saw me, but I was looking down in his car and he was slapping them to us. And then my friend dropped the soccer ball in front of his car and went to go get it. And I think he thought she was like booking his license, and he just like, she like took the ball and he just screeched away. So yeah, okay, two sketchy situations in my whole lifetime of living there in that ghetto area. That that's about it. But like, yeah, I just overall had such an amazing childhood. When we moved to the town from this ghetto area, also, it was so quiet, so dead. Like there was nothing there but nature, and you can like just get away from all the noise. Like really just sit for hours in nature with your friends, and it was just amazing. And now it's just all overdeveloped, no nature left. Like houses stacked on houses, garbage, roadkill every 2 seconds. You see a dead raccoon, dead coyote, dead dogs, dead goose, dead dogs. I'm not kidding you. People are hitting dogs. They're not stopping for dogs. Forget about cats. But yeah, it's just horrible. And I don't even know how my childhood friends are still there. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely not going back because there's nothing to go back to.
Canada is not alone in this. Most of the West is going through this. I've heard similar stories out of Australia and Western Europe. And so, what I'd say to you guys, and I'm in the same boat as you, is maybe it's a blessing in disguise. to see rip the band-aid and see reality for what it is, and it kind of forces us to expedite our lives in ways that
Yeah, I like this
we may
guy.
not have necessarily thought to do before,
I like this
and
guy.
open up opportunities available to ourselves as well as our children in the future or current children. That, it just a little bit of hardship can make you think creatively, and that can go a far long way.
That's how people get
And I think that
successful.
is important. That's the silver
They come
lining
from
here,
nothing.
because we don't want to be doom and gloom, because it just is what it is. And then just because one country is not doing so well doesn't mean there aren't a plethora out there that are thriving and
Yeah.
you'd have a great life in. So it's just food for thought. And if there's anything I
Yeah.
talked
Thanks,
about
dude.
that you're curious
I
about
think
or you have
we're
questions
on the
about
same
or you're
page.
just pissed and you want to say something or get it off your chest, Mitch, you're a fucking asshole, comment. I don't give a fuck. Helps the algorithm anyway. Run it. And don't get me wrong, I wish I was wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Canada does turn it around in the future.
It
Canadian
just went
people are great.
worse.
Canada has so much potential. I love Alberta. The people here are just rock solid people. And the reason for this video is not to be ranty
We
or
want to be
complain or whine. It's
independent.
just to
We
bring
don't
some
want to be
truths
part
to
of
light and then
Canada.
provide solutions at the end, or just perhaps another way of thinking or seeing things. And, I'm not here to try to piss you off and make you all frantic and scared. I'm here to, shake you up a little bit and say, hey, wake up, wake up.
Wake
It's time
up.
to wake up
Wake up.
and provide some solutions out of here, or some solutions that could work best for you. And if, leaving Canada isn't in the stars for you, you're stuck here for whatever reason. Honestly, my biggest recommendation, and that's not the end of the world, okay?
I suggested my friend El Salvador because apparently it's cleaned up. It's very safe now. And a lot of Canadians are looking at El Salvador and have moved out that way. It's like, it's not safe. I'm like, did you read the recent news? Like, I think it's safer there than it is here. Yeah, but people are comfortable. I don't know. I'm not.
You could still make it work. If you set up the right systems in life, you can have a great life anywhere.
Yes.
I would personally recommend to probably leave the cities.
Yeah.
I think the way to play Canada, in my opinion, is to open up a corporation, purchase legacy land, build some beautiful property buildings in nature, overlooking
do that
lakes or
now.
mountains, and try to pass that along to your children. I think that's the way to play Canada, and perhaps Canada will turn around in the future. It has all the foundational
Maybe
things
4
in
months
place
ago.
where it easily could with the right management, the right leadership. I just am personally betting against the fact that it will go in that direction,
It didn't.
because I honestly don't see the intent of the government or even the mass population to be heading in that direction. I think it's going to be one of these situations. I mean, even the RCMP put out a report where they wrote, when
They're
Canadians
jaded.
realize how
They're
broke they are,
corrupted.
there's going to be a revolution. I think if things don't change, there will be a revolution or some sort of breaking
Don't
point.
trust the RCMP.
Not that I'm necessarily advocating for that, but I just see it. If it continues on its current path, I see it going towards a revolution inevitably. Could take decades to get there. But I really hope that leadership changes and things are run properly, because it's not too late. It's totally salvageable. It's not completely doom and gloom.
It is.
Still got some of the biggest freshwater reserves in the world. It's got a lot going for it. A lot of oil in Alberta. Could be a serious player in the entire world. And then honestly, there's discussion
Yeah,
of
that
Alberta
looks like my
itself.
neighborhood.
If Canada really is a sinking ship, Alberta does have what it needs to leave independently. I'm not saying it would be clean and sexy right away, but it could do it if it really needed to, and that could be an interesting opportunity in the future. We could come back in the year 2040 to the country of Alberta. Could be the way the world is changing, it's becoming more multipolar and more divided. And
I think Carney is draining us so that we can be more affordable for Trump to buy us as the 51st state. And by then, I hope Alberta is sovereign and its own Republic of Alberta and making trade deals with the US.
we'll see, you know. There's a lot on the table. A lot could happen. So I'm not going to necessarily count out Canada, but for the time being,
Yeah, that's what we said.
I would rather protect my children and raise them somewhere safer with more opportunity. And I would love to be wrong, and for
Time to learn Hungarian.
Canada to turn around and we could return and I could show them where I grew up and the land and all.
Buddy, it's not the same anymore. But that's so funny. He did the same thing we did. We moved to Alberta because it was the only affordable place. And now it's, you know, like my husband, it was scary to drive here in the winter because they don't plow their snow. They don't. They wait for like the sun to melt it. So it melts and then becomes ice, and then it rains, and then it becomes even icier. Like, we're scared of the winter driving here. But since 2022 of us moving here, the traffic has increased, even in our area, but middle of nowhere. And he's like, look, I will just drive 20 minutes away. And I'm like, who the hell is on these roads? Like, people are just driving however they want. I don't know who's giving them these licenses, who's passing them. They're definitely not taking them in English. That's how I'll put it.
But that's probably wishful thinking.
Like, he's always
why
like,
I made this video.
Made it home.
Only a way forward. I can't believe watching this video back, I missed this point. The housing prices. This is one of the biggest issues in Canada. I can't believe I even mentioned this. The housing prices. Yeah. The average house is approximately $1 million. We're not talking a nice house. We're talking.
My dad bought his house in 2004 for $312,000, whatever. 2023, he sold it for over $1 million. 4-bedroom home, 3 bathrooms, 2 garage home. The lot is like 42 feet. Like, the houses are stacked on each other on like a street with a sidewalk on it. You could probably only fit 1 car. And if your car touches that little curb that goes through it, you get fined. It's insane. Like, if your wheel hits the sidewalk, like, we've had tickets because we parked and it was like a little not aligned and it just like touched the sidewalk. It was interfering with the sidewalk. Like, over $1 million, that home. And yeah, he's retired and he's fine. And anyone retired in Canada is sitting comfy.
Fucking a piece of shit box in the suburbs of a piece of shit city for $1 million to $2 million on average. So nobody can afford a home. The rents are absurdly high. And what happens is when nobody can afford a home, nobody can afford to have a family. So then you're getting into a demographic
Abortions.
collapse. And for some reason,
abortion rates go up.
The government thinks that just because they mass import immigrants and that pads the stats temporarily, it'll look like it's not as big of an issue as it is. But even the immigrants coming in, since the foundation of the country is broken, they can't have kids either. So the immigrants can't have kids, the locals can't have kids, and the government's just trying to cover that with mass migration. And that's just not sustainable. So essentially, instead of the country investing in private industry and being innovative and developing tech or something like that could bring real jobs to the country, it decided to focus on a Ponzi scheme that is based on housing and immigration. It's not sustainable, and they've been warned multiple times not to do this, yet they doubled down, which is why that leads me back to my belief that everything here is a controlled demolition intentionally. One thing I previously forgot to mention as well is one of the actual major reasons too why I'm leaving is honestly the climate. You know, it's the majority of the year is about 2/3 in cold and darkness.
Yeah.
There's wildfires all summer, so you're inhaling smoke in the skies.
So bad.
That's becoming more rampant. The government's failing to address.
We have a fire every summer, starting from May. I think it even started in like March this year. And it was a weird September, but usually September's, I mean, we did have smoke, but This year, because it rained all summer, I think it was pretty okay. But last summer, even the summer when I was pregnant, I would go to work and I had to go like call it a day because the airport was just walking through smoke and it just smelled like smoke. Like you literally looked like there was a fire somewhere in the airport. And I didn't want my babies inside of me to be exposed to that because anything I'm breathing in, they're breathing in. And that's not good for a high risk pregnancy, right? So I would go home and I live in the prairies. So it's a little more open there, not so smoggy, but I'm definitely closer to the fires.
That correctly. And, you know, you get bug season. So you go outside and just get ripped to shreds.
The bugs! Oh my god, you can't catch a break. Mosquito season is vicious. Like, mosquito repellent doesn't work here. There's some mutated mosquitoes out here. If it's not mosquitoes, it's the freaking bumblebees. I got stung. My husband got stung. My dogs got stung this summer. Ladybugs, that's another one. It's very weird. And then we have these weird cockroach-looking bugs. They're like red. Like there's a month for every bug, and it's like mass overpopulated, and they go all over you, and they chase you, they sting you, they bite you. It's just, and yeah, the whole season thing, like nosebleeds and headaches are very common in Alberta. It's very dry, and yeah, like I don't like the sun. I hate the heat because I lived in Dubai, got that all out of my system, but it is always cold here. Like I'm always in a sweater. I like this sweater, okay, sure it's showing a little more than usual, but nah, like I want to be able to take my dogs out for a walk every day. -4 degrees is okay. -40. We have ice, what are they called? Chill. Well, anyways, basically they turn off our power and it circulates throughout the regions because there's such a overload on the grid to keep the houses warm. It's, what the hell is a cold snap? We have cold snaps. Yeah, and it's scary. They'll do it for like half an hour, but that's scary still. The first time we had that was when my newborns were just born. We had space heater, and they're like, we got like text messages on our phone, like, turn off your space heaters, all the cooking, turn off your power. We're turning off the grid. We're getting help from Vancouver and Saskatchewan, and I think we even got some help from the US at one point to help us sustain electricity because it was just so freaking cold. And I didn't turn it off because I had premature newborns. I needed that space heater towards their crib or they would have froze. So I'm sorry. But yeah, that's how bad it gets here. The cold snaps are freaking cold. It could be like -50. And it for very prolonged times, like a week, sometimes 2 weeks. It's not livable at all. Like Alberta was our last chance, last straw. Not working out. We leaving. See you tomorrow.